Ladies and gentlemen, boys and NBs, so you've paid to win in the DMZ. But what's that? You're still having problems? What if I told you the mere price of a like and subscribe, just kidding, it's totally free, I could take those chances and raise them by another 15 to 20%. That's what I want to do today with this video that focuses solely on all of the guns that come in the DMZ bundles with a 15-minute cooldown. So every time you do that 2-plate regain or take your free self-revive, you have the proper equipment to get the job done. On this list, there are 14 guns from all different categories, from pistols to 50 cal snipers, ARs, SMGs, my personal favorite, a DMR. We're going to start with ARs and work our way across. So yesterday, as of recording this video, the Butch bundle dropped, which is the 4th of July bundle, celebrating America, baby. Here we are. Obviously, we're going to get an M4, just like we did with Modern Warfare 2019. So let's go ahead and take this build off, which I just covered this gun 2-3 days ago? I don't remember. I covered this gun the other day, so we're gonna go through this one quite quickly because I don't think we need to rehash this too terribly hard. So hey, look, a jump cut. I already went ahead, built the gun out, threw it together. These are the attachments that I would throw in this gun. If you're gonna go on a regain, you're gonna carry a sniper with it while you have a 3-plate, you're just typical build. However, if I was gonna be going into something like Building 21, even a Sheikah, Koshi Complex, etc., I would actually run this build, or if you have to have a suppressor, using the Broadhead instead of the Cronin OP44. This build is incredibly useful within those close quarters, but it still has the ability to fight out to the 50 to 60 meter range. If you need an optic, you can drop the barrel and throw on an optic. However, I prefer this gun as is. Tuning is the same as it always is. The next gun in this is the FTAC 56. Feels absolutely horrible this season. Feels like a marshmallow gun, but it does have a 60 round mag, so it is still useful. There are a few ways to build this gun. If you do not need an optic and you're familiar with the iron sights on this gun, this is the way I would run this gun for Al-Mazrah regains. You're going to carry a sniper behind it. However, if you do need an optic, we'll drop the barrel, throw on a Choreo or an AMOP, whatever optic you prefer, alongside the Echoless 80, the Agent Grip, High Velocity, and the 60 mag. This is probably your easiest to use gun of everything in this list. It's a good all-arounder, but the M4 is probably going to clap you every time. And then, just like before, if we're going to push through Building 21 or Koshi Complex, something of that nature, this is the build I would go with, using the Echo line because it has the 0 ADS penalty, the 12-inch barrel, again, more ADS, range isn't a big deal, Agent Grip for stability, overpressured to force the flinch, and the 60 mag. If you do need an optic, you can drop the overpressured, throw an optic on the gun, probably something like the Holotherm. That's what I'm guessing you'd want to put on here in those situations because it does work with nods. However, a little free piece of information here, this optic does work with nods. Any of these toggleable optics work with nods. You can use the red dot and it's essentially like you don't even have night vision on. Everything still has the blue sepia to it, but you're using the red dot as if you were using a Chrono Mini Pro. It is fantastic. Carrying on through our ARs, we've came to the absolute worst AR in the game, the ISO cringe lock, I mean Hemlock. This gun, they had to nerf it into the ground so far that it is literally useless unless you build it one way and one way only, because everyone absolutely refused to stop using it even though it was terrible before the last nerf. Now, the only way I've found this gun to be useful is as a 300 black rifle. I know, you like your bullet velocity. You think this gun's good really long range. It's really not. It's horrible. However, it can keep up and compete with the Chimera, actually outperforming it in some situations, so long as you can hit your shots because it does have a slower rate of fire. You need an optic, go ahead and throw the rear grip in the trash, throw on a Mini Pro, whatever you need, get the job done. This gun is good inside Koshi, it's good on Building 21, and you can actually run it behind a sniper on Almaz. The aim down sight speed is fantastic, however your bullet velocity is around 400 meters per second, so don't expect to use it anywhere past around 40 meters. From here, we're going to jump straight to LMGs with the Sakin. This is the only build that I've found that I like on the Sakin. Take it to Almaz, take it wherever you want to. Just know that you're going to have a slower ADS than everyone else, but you can absolutely lay down heat. Overpressured isn't a bad idea if you're going to take it into one of the CQC maps. Other than that, there's not really much you can change here. And then we're going to move on to my favorite gun of the 15 minutes outside of snipers, and the EBR. We'll talk about the EBR in a minute. This is my favorite automatic gun in the list, the Icarus. This build here is absolutely phenomenal. I can take this anywhere and absolutely slap anyone. I know it's a little different than anything else that I've built on here, as we're using a vertical foregrip, and I'm not a big fan of the vert grips. However, your aim down sight speed is comparable to an AR. You've got the 75 round mag, you've got the hip fire ability, and you're holding 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity. This thing is an absolute banger. If you do not need the optic, you can drop it. You can throw on the short barrel, you can throw on the ADS rear grip, or you can even throw on the 100 mag if you want to get real spicy. From there, I wanted to knock the one pistol on the list off, and that being the Tech 9. I'm sorry, the F-Tac Siege. I personally don't run a suppressor on this gun because I'm going to be in your face the entire time I'm using it anyway. So I do run it with this, with the Ratchet BE barrel. However, you could take this barrel and use an integrally suppressed barrel, or take it off and throw on the DX90F, I believe is the suppressor. Any of that'll work. The rest of this build, just leave it alone, let it rip. It's beautiful. It's not as good as day one, but it still gets the job done. Now it's time to get really toxic. We're going to talk about the broadside and the Bryson 800. Starting with the broadside, this is the build I've been running on the broadside. I don't think Dragon's Breath is worth the attachment because you lose range, you don't really gain any damage. Same goes for the smooth bolt. I don't need the fire rate. I feel like having a better hip fire is better. This build here, I don't think there's anything that can beat this other than maybe the Tempest Torrent or the F-Tac Recon, but nobody has the balls to run the F-Tac Recon. So if you're going to be pushing close areas, just take this, fire it from the hip, get the job done. Now, the Bryson 800, there's a couple of different ways you can build this. I prefer to have the 8 rounds in the tube instead of 6, so I run the shredder instead of the long boy. But no suppressors on shotguns. Suppressors absolutely ruin range on shotgun. So what we've done here is we've built this gun out to have its absolute maximum range. We've taken the stock off so we move faster, get better hip fire, added the agent grip for a little bit of stability and a whole lot of hip fire again. Then we've put the pump on to rechamber and shoot this thing as fast as we possibly can. You can kill someone with 2 shells from this gun. It is amazing. The range difference between the 21.5 shredder and the long boy of the 29.5 rifle is not really a big deal. However, I can see advantages if you're going to Koshi and running the longer barrel. It's up to you. 6 shots, 8 shots, an extra 4 meters of range. You make the decision. You're a big boy. You can handle it. And lastly, I did say we were going to get toxic. Here's the build with Dragon's Breath in it. Please don't use this because I'm going to be mad if I die to it. So the Vel 46, I feel like everybody overlooks this gun. This thing is incredible. I can use this Koshi, Building 21, Al-Mazrah, Ashika, Vondel. Anywhere I want to take it, it performs. It's great. It's beautiful. The bots are good. Players are better. This thing will fry. I can beat the broadside as long as I don't, choke up on them too much. And I can take down snipers as long as I get a little bit of a flanky flank on them. If you don't need an optic, I would suggest swapping from that to this build, because this build here is going to give you a little bit more range. It's going to feel a little bit more stable, but it does have the visible laser, so keep that in mind. And then lastly, with the MP7, if you want to get really spicy, pull this out, go to Building 21, and laugh in the faces of your enemies. But wait, there's more in the submachine gun category, and that's the Bass P. The Bass P is my personal favorite submachine gun. I know I just said the Vel gets overlooked. The Bass P, I've never seen anyone use this outside of myself. This gun is incredible. It has one of the best mid-range TTKs in the game. This build makes it feel like a Chimera, maybe a Cast-Off 74U. I don't know, you gotta try it for yourself because it's absolutely incredible. Unlike the Vel, you can change this build to run it behind a sniper instead of AR SMG combo. If I'm going to Al-Mazrah and I'm taking this gun with a sniper, I'm going to run this build. I'm able to compete out to about 55, maybe even 60 meters, so long as I can hit my shots, get the advantage, work things on my time. This is a really, really interesting gun, and I really like where they're going with it. Alright, so this is one I'm probably not going to see a lot of you guys use, but DMRs are actually better than snipers right now. I know, crazy. Bolt actions are useless, but that's okay. So, the only thing I'm going to say on this, if you're going to Vondel, change the locust out for a heat source so you can see through all of that fog, take care of your enemies, not have to worry about it. This thing is a monster at range, but also with swapping just a couple of attachments, we can turn this into a gun that is able to beat the broadside or any other CQC weapon and still perform like an assault rifle out to about 100 meters range reliably. We've got all of the stability from the agent. We're hitting over 1,000 meters per second velocity. Even with the echo line, we've got the 20 round mags, so we're actually able to lay down the suppressive fire we need. And the aim-op is everyone's favorite. I like the choreo. I give you the aim-op because you love it. So now we're going to work through the snipers. MCPR is my go-to. I don't like barrels in most situations unless I'm running explosive ammo. So I'm going to take that and put extra stability into my gun. Run the 22 if you want instead of the stock, but this is my go-to build on the MCPR. I don't understand what the barrel of the extra velocity is needed for, but if you need it, hey, that's a you thing. And then this is actually the main sniper that I've been running. Run any optic that you want. If you don't want to run this optic, or you want to run the standard scope that comes on this gun, throw the long barrel on it. Either one, with or without bipod. They're both great. They have the same stats, just one is slightly slower to aim in, and you have a bipod. I absolutely love the way the Imperium feels, even though it's ugly as sin and it's a horrible gun in the real world. And I will give out an explosive build for this gun. I'm maxing as much velocity as I possibly can on this one because these bullets fly through the air as slow as a chimera it feels anyway. Hey, post-edit Nolsey, I completely forgot we've got the Vasnev in this game. That's how forgettable this gun is. That's okay though, I'm gonna give you a build for it. Again, if you don't need the optic, work through stocks or the TrueTac rear grip. Find out what finishes this gun build for you. I would stick with the DX90 and the response barrel though, however, to push your range out as far as you can. Like I said, this gun is forgettable because it's not very good outside of multiplayer. And that will break down all of the guns that you can get a 15-minute timer on currently within DMZ. And that'll do it for me, boys. Like and subscribe, and for that one squad member on your group, maybe share them this video. You know the one I'm talking about. Take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow.